Good morning, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us in these very unusual times from the comfort of your own home. Our opening song this morning is going to be Woke Up this morning with Spirit on My Mind, and I invite you to go ahead and sing along at home if you like. You can dance around because you can sing and dance like nobody's watching today. I also, during the meet and greet portion or any time throughout the service, please let us know that you're watching, let us know that you're here, let each other know that you're here by typing something into the chat on that Facebook page. So if you'll go ahead and join me, I want to be free of the stand. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on Spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on Spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Back into the holder. So again, thank you for joining us live in person or later on replay. We know that you are blessed. We are blessed. And so now it is time. I am Sharon Whaley. I am the practitioner today. And if you'll join me in just centering within as I offer a opening spiritual mind treatment to remember the truth of our being. There is only one spirit, one life, one divine, perfect, creative intelligence, expressing itself through itself, as itself. This life is love. It is wholeness. It is perfection, and it is abundance. It is the power behind everything that makes everything new. It is the springtime that we are entering into, this blossoming, this flowering, this new world is emerging right now. For it is all happening in the mind of God right now, perfectly, whole, complete. God is expressing itself in and through each and every one of us. And so I know that we are that perfect expression of wholeness, of God. That perfect expression of spirit, of abundance, of love, of life itself. And as we enter in this time of reflection, this time of being with ourselves and our loved ones, I know that this is a time where we get to really recenter into ourselves and into what is really important. And that is that loving connection that is spirit. I see that this is a time of deep healing, and as that which is no longer serving us comes up, it is released and it is removed. And so I am so grateful for this time together. I'm so grateful for Reverend Gregory Toole being here this morning to give us our inspiring message. I'm so grateful for Parisi, for Merritt, for Scott, for each of you joining me here today. For it is in this community that we find each other, that we find that truth of wholeness, of perfection. While we may be physically distant, we are spiritually one, always and forever. I'm so grateful for this knowing of this truth, that I rest in this and I let this word go, letting it go into the mind of law and love that only knows yes and more. And so it is. So we'll have another song. This one is, we're going to do I'm Choosing Heaven, and I think you all know it. And are the words going up? Nope. Okay, so just sing along, follow along. You can sing it wrong if you want, because nobody will know but you. So it's all going to be perfect, right? I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of love right now, singing I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing peace today. I am walking the road of peace right now, singing I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of joy right now, singing I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today.
Thank you, Sharon. Beautiful singing, Sharon and Merritt. Thank you so much for doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. Like, here we are. We're doing it. We're doing service. We're together. It doesn't seem like we're together, right? I'm speaking to pretty much an empty sanctuary here, except for Scott, our board president, Scott Tobias, our board president, and Parisi, our sound person. Thank you so much both for being here. And we're doing this. We're a community. You all are community. You're staying together during this time, during this really weird time. It feels really strange for me to be in Bakersfield, to be in your sanctuary, and you all are not here so that I could give you a hug. It feels like the thing I look forward to the most in coming here is to get a hug from each one of you. So here's what I want to invite us to. I want to invite you to give yourself a hug from me right now. So you can do that by taking your right hand and putting it on your left shoulder, taking your left hand, putting it on your right shoulder, and just give yourself a big squeeze and just know that that is a hug from me. I am giving you a hug right now. Love prevails. Love always prevails. And so here we are in these really interesting times that are unprecedented, unlike any other time. And our talk title today is The Gift, the Call. And that's the way I kind of always look at anything that happens to me in my life. What's the gift in this, and what is the call? What is it calling me to? And in this case, it's what is the gift for us collectively as humanity, and what is it calling us to as humanity? Well, one of the things it's calling me to is to stay at the podium, because if you know me as a speaker, I usually like to walk around and move around the stage, and here I am staying right here at the podium because I'm only speaking to you into the camera. But in all seriousness, one of the things going on in my life during this time, which is a very strange thing, is that I have moved to Bakersfield. I am now one of you. I live here in Bakersfield. I'm in a beautiful relationship, and that has caused me to move here and to be in Bakersfield, and it's really odd to move here and not actually be connecting with you all, but I'm really happy to be here in Bakersfield. I just literally arrived last night with a U-Haul filled with my things at 8 p.m. last night, and here I am this morning speaking to you all. So I'm really excited to be here. And I want to share a quote from Ernest Holmes, our founder. And it's from the book called This Thing Called You. And in my version, it's on page 84. And Ernest Holmes says, "When you become confused, stop and listen to your inner calm. Turn from the confusion to that deeper something within. Say, I am submerged in peace. I am surrounded by peace. I am immersed in peace. There is nothing but peace. Peace, deep, calm, undisturbed." In these times, we're really called to deepen in our spiritual practice, to go deeper into our practice, one of the things I think we're called to is to keep our joy, to stay in our joy. That for me, humor is always a good source of inspiration. I'm always looking and just knowing that my joy is not dependent on what's happening right now or what's right in front of me right now. And of course, these are challenging times. These are difficult times. This is not an easy time. Everything is so different. Everything is topsy-turvy. Everything's up in the air. What's going to happen next? And yet, at the center of all that, at our center, is a deep abiding peace and a deep abiding joy if we get still and turn within and find that. In fact, there's another Ernest Holmes quote where in the Science of Mind textbook where he says, "I do not fear sickness, disease, or death, because the eternal and perfect life animates my body and goes always about its perfect work, healing and renewing that body. I am not afraid of want or lack, for the one infinite essence supplies me with everything I need all of the time. There is nothing for me to fear, for I am an inseparable part of God. I live in God, God lives in me. And I draw upon its perfect peace. My peace is found at the heart of God," which is really in my own heart, at my own center. So one of the things we're all practicing these days that has been being called social distancing, which we are practicing today, we're all at least 6 feet apart from one another. And I began to say that I don't like that term, social distancing. I like to call it physical distancing, because I'm not separating myself socially from anyone. In fact, I'm feeling the need to connect even more, even if it's at a distance, even if it's through technology. And beautifully, as Sharon Whaley pointed out to me on Facebook, the World Health Organization also now is changing it to be called physical distancing. And I saw in several places online where that term is now becoming more popular. So let's not socially distance. Let's physically distance. We need each other now more than we ever have. So this morning, let's talk about the gift, the call. What's the gift and what's the call? One of the gifts in this is there's no denying in this moment our interconnectedness. There's no denying our interdependence of how much we need each other and how connected we are and how inseparable we are. Of course, we're individualized expressions of the divine, but this oneness thing, that's a core part of our teaching, is really being presenced and witnessed by us right now. None of us is an island. I think of this, in our teaching, and including in that quote that I just read to you. We know in the science of mind that when we really step into that consciousness of wholeness, no dis-ease can touch us. And yet in this situation, it's not just about us individually. So even though I'm not afraid myself of catching anything, our interconnectedness, our oneness, our interdependence on each other still calls me to practice this physical distancing so that I don't unwittingly become a carrier of this virus, which, by the way, needs us as human beings for it to spread. It really can't spread any other way. So this physical distancing allows us to keep it at bay. So I am just reminded that I'm not just this little island of manifestation, as we might call it, where it's just all about me and what I can manifest for myself, and I'm okay, how about you? No, this really calls us into this deeper place of our interconnectedness, of our interdependence. That it's not just about me, it's really about how do we all take care of each other? How do we really care about the well-being of each other? So that is one of the gifts, recognizing our interdependence, our interconnectedness. Another gift that I'll have to put in quotes this time is getting us in touch with our fears. There's nothing like this level of uncertainty to put us in touch with. It's not, our fears, as I see them, aren't necessarily directly associated with what's happening. Our fears are the fears that were always there under the surface that now get magnified by this situation, by this condition. So we get to be in touch in a way like never before with our deepest fears. Our fears about financial security, our fears about physical well-being, our fears about being alone and being isolated. We get to be in touch in a really big way with our fears. And the gift in that, as I see it, is that when things are at the surface, it's the most beautiful, most perfect time to heal them, to dissolve them, to release them. When they're buried down and we can almost don't even know they're there, they're kind of hidden, there's not really much we can do with them. We can't really transform them because we don't really even see them or know they're there. So this is a moment. This is a moment, and it is a moment, because this too shall pass. We will move to the other side of this thing called the pandemic. In fact, in China, where it started, they're already reporting no new cases. The last I saw, it was like several days in a row of no new cases being reported. So we know that this will pass, and yet we have this opportunity, since it is here right now, to use it for the greatest good for ourselves individually and for our evolution, our spiritual evolution collectively. So we get to look deeply at those fears and feel those fears. Really feel them, observe them, release them. Feel them, observe them, release them. And the release might be a physical release. In my move, one of the greatest gifts of my move, as hard as it was, it's always a lot of physical effort and emotional effort to do a move, especially this one for me being a cross-country moving from Colorado. But one of the gifts was all that physical activity. All of that physical activity caused me to move all of that anxiety energy, fear energy, whatever other energy was moving in me. So one of the ways we can be with fear is to make sure we move it through us, that we don't allow it to get stuck in us, and we don't allow ourselves to get stuck. Another really beautiful gift of all this is to see what really matters. What really matters. Not just the things, the little petty things sometimes we get into, but what really matters. And what really matters the most is love. What really matters the most is connection. And this is one of those times for us to really reach out to each other, to really reach out and connect, reach out, even if not physically, to let each other know, I'm here for you, I care about you, we need each other. With spiritual practice, it's a call deeper into our spiritual practice. And one of the things I've always said I love about spiritual practice is the results, the fruits of spiritual practice we can take with us. You know, we say, well, you can't take it with you, but this is one of those things we can take with us. All the fruits that we gain from our spiritual evolution, our spiritual practice, those are eternal. And those really matter. That which is eternal really matters. So this is a beautiful opportunity as we're, sheltering at home or whatever we want to call it. What a beautiful time to deepen in our spiritual practice. And then have that deepening in our spiritual practice be carried with us on the other side of this pandemic, when we're living life. I don't think life ever goes back to something that was before, but when we're living the newness of this new experience after the pandemic, after it passes, in this new experience, maybe the new you, the new me, in this new experience is much more steeped in our spiritual practice. Maybe we have even more peace than we had before. Maybe we have even more joy than we had before. Maybe we have even more love and compassion for ourselves and for others than we did before. How can we use this opportunity? None of us probably would have requested that our, quote, opportunity come in this form. We probably would much rather it come in some other form, much more gentle, much more apparently graceful. But this is the form that the opportunity has come, in the form of a pandemic. And the beauty, in quotes, everything has to be in quotes today because it's such surreal times. The beauty of it arriving in the form of a pandemic is it really has our attention. It does. There's no one probably, except for there was one couple I read about. They went on a retreat, a silent retreat or something like that, where they disconnected from all of life for a period of a couple weeks. And they reemerged from their retreat, their silent retreat, where they turned off all electronics and social media and all that stuff and disconnected, and they returned to find a pandemic. That's quite a shock, I bet. But other than that, other than people that somehow tuned out for a while, it has all of our attention right now. Our attention is really focused. And everyone in the world right now is focused on the same thing. How do we move past this? How do we move into wholeness and health and well-being? Which, of course, are always there. And yet, right now, we feel threatened by this. So it has our attention. And the good thing about it having our attention is life can't be normal right now, no matter how much we try, right? We can't do the things with everyone that we used to do right now. We have to have some physical distancing. Even when we came in here, none of us exchanged hugs, which is highly unusual for people in Center for Spiritual Living. But namaste and bowing is also a beautiful way to really see each other and greet each other. So it has our attention. And now, what do we want to do with that intention? Aside from the fear that might come up in us that we have to work with and move through and observe and really look at what is that and really apply our spiritual principles to that fear. We say, well, if God is all there is, and I'm always supplied, and everything is working together for good, then what is that fear in me? What is that fear about? I've noticed in myself, my living, the way that money usually comes to me is through my work with churches and spiritual communities. Well, as churches and communities appear to be threatened financially, like some fear has come up in me, that fear of me that I won't be supplied, that I won't be taken care of. And so I really get to work with that on the inside. It's like, okay, well, God is my infinite source. That's the spiritual truth that I absolutely know that has carried me through so many different scenarios, by the way, because I've stepped out on faith so many times in my life, and every time, no matter how uncertain it looked, no matter how shaky it looked, no matter how much I didn't know how or where I was going to be supplied from, always I was supplied. Always my needs were met. Never were my needs not met. So I get to lean into that truth again. Okay, God is my infinite source. The churches I work with aren't my source. So I have to be open to, okay, then it might look a little different. The way that I'm taken care of could look a little different for a little while. But that's how I offer it for you to work with these fears as they come up. Feel them, observe them, really feel them, really observe them to see what they're made of. What is the content of that fear? And then begin to pick it apart with our spiritual teaching. It's like, no, that's not reality. That's not the spiritual reality, the spiritual truth that I know. And so this can be a real growth opportunity. What if, for me personally, what if I come through this with an even deeper sense of God as my source? Because I've had to, right? Maybe I will have to lean even further into than I ever have the spiritual truth that God is my source. Because we will all get through this. We will all get to the other side of this. So we can really use this opportunity to deepen. What if we all came out of this more in touch with God as our source, more in touch with our inner peace that is not dependent on circumstances, more in touch with our inner joy that is not dependent on circumstances, more compassionate because we see for ourselves that we're not an island, that we are interconnected, we are interdependent, we do depend on each other, we do need each other. What if we came through this so much more in our being, in our consciousness, in our way of showing up than we ever were before? Then wouldn't we truly, without the quotes, wouldn't we truly call this situation a gift? I know I would. One of the other opportunities that's been kind of coming into my awareness, coming to my attention, is this opportunity to see, I think the real opportunity so often, and in this case for sure, is to look at where am I in harmony and where am I not in harmony with myself, with others, and with our environment. Because for me, in my experience, all dis-ease that I've experienced in my life, or all sickness that I've experienced in my life, was some shape or form of disharmony. So whenever I've gotten sick in any way, which I've been fortunate to not really have a lot of sickness, but whenever I have been under the weather or had some form of sickness, I've always been able to look at where am I in disharmony? Where am I out of harmony? This too is an opportunity for us to look at where can I be in greater harmony with myself? Harmony with my values, harmony with what's important to me. Am I aligning my life with who I am and what I believe and what's important to me? How can I come into more full alignment with that, more harmony with that? Harmony with others. How can I be a more loving presence with others? How can I forgive more easily? Those people that we put out of our hearts and we're like, I'm done with you, and we just, put them out of our hearts. We really can't afford to do that. Spiritually, emotionally, for our own health, for our own well-being, we really can't afford to do that. This is a call. This is a call. How do I come back into more harmony with myself, more harmony with others? Now, in forgiving, of course, we don't have to now say, let's hang out together. But what it is that we don't have anyone that we feel anything other than love when we think about them. It's like, all I want for you is I send you love. I may not want to hang around with you because my experience is that doesn't work for me, but the only thing I feel towards you, the only thing I send to you, the only thing I want for you is love. That's forgiveness. And guess what happens to me as an individual, or you as an individual, when you step into that kind of love? That means the only thing in your being is love. In my being is love. So we become a walking, living, breathing embodiment of love. And we're just pure love. And what does that do for our experience in life? Love is the greatest power there is, so it expands our experience of life. What does that do for our planet, for our environment? Love expands everything. Love supports everything. So we create a better world. We're really being called to come back into harmony. How do we come back into harmony with our earth? There's this quote that I saw today. Another minister passed it along from Levi Sucre Romero, a Bree indigenous leader from Costa Rica. And he's being quoted by Matthew Fox. And he says, the coronavirus is now telling the world what we have been saying for thousands of years, that if we do not help protect biodiversity and nature, then we will face this and worse future threats. So could this also be a call for us to be in more harmony with our environment, to be aware of our impact on our natural environment? One of the things that is being called out is by our encroaching more and more on natural spaces, we're coming more and more in touch with wildlife, and therefore the transfer of disease from wildlife to humans is becoming much more easily facilitated. I don't know enough about that to know if it's true, but what I do know is perhaps this is a call for us also to look at where can we be in greater harmony with our beautiful natural environment. It's already being seen through all these various things in different countries where people aren't going out. In some countries, and now in California, of course, we have shelter in place, that as humans are using less and less in the environment, like less boats on the rivers and less cars on the street, there's already noticeable shifts in the environment where the healing of the environment, even in this short period of time, is already taking place. Could this be a wake-up call for us to see very clearly, without any doubt, the impact we're having on our natural environment, and to make a shift and begin to be in more harmony with our environment? So many gifts in all of this, and for each of us, they might be slightly different. But this is really my invitation today. My invitation today is to really look at, for you personally, and for you as you see collectively, what is the gift in what is happening right now? Because it's there. And then what is the call? What is it calling you to? What is it calling us to collectively? And I can guarantee you the gift and the call are not calling us to some past, and it's not calling us to something smaller. It's calling us into something greater. It's really an opportunity. This is a big opportunity for our collective and individual spiritual evolution, mental evolution, emotional evolution. And the only question is, will we answer the call? And so my invitation today is, let's keep our physical distance, but let's really stay together as community. Let's stay connected. Let's use technology, even if technology just means the phone, to text or to pick up the phone and call someone. Or if you're more familiar with things like FaceTime or Zoom, or ways that you can actually video and see each other. Let's stay connected even more. How about that? Let's really offset what's happening here. Let's stay connected even more than we would otherwise, so that not only does this become a time of not disconnecting, but it actually even becomes a time of greater connecting. Let's find the gift. Let's answer the call. God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and let's turn within for prayer. And so we recognize in this moment that one power, that one presence, that one life. And we know it's divine, we know it's God, we know it's good. Just one power, and it's a power for good. One power, and it's the power that's in me. It's the power that's in each person who's listening. It's a power in each person we encounter. One presence, and that presence is in me, it's in you, it's in every person we encounter. All of life is truly one, and we truly are in this together. And so recognizing the oneness of all that is, and that all is that one love, that one essence of wholeness and harmony, finding expression through and as all that is. I speak this word right now. And I know that we are seeing so clearly the gift in what is unfolding in our world. And we are powerfully, boldly, clearly answering the call. We're going more deeply into ourselves. We're connecting more fully with people than we ever have. We're knowing in a way that we haven't known so deeply before, God is my source. God is my power. God is my strength. God is the way. And even if we have a problem with the word God, we recognize the presence of spirit, the presence of something, some it, that is comforting us, that is moving us forward, that is preparing the way, that there is this infinite intelligence, this infinite love that is preparing the way, that something good is emerging right here and right now, right before our eyes, even as we struggle with or worry about what's happening. Something good is emerging. The ultimate purpose of all of this is the allowance of something good to emerge, and it is surely happening. I know that each one right where we are, that there is infinite peace right at our center. And I speak this word right now to call forth that peace that passes all human understanding that resides at the center of our being, that wholeness that resides at the center of our being, that love that resides at the center of our being. And I call that forth right now in the greatest measure that we've ever expressed before, so that we are living, moving, walking, being so clear that we are expressions of that one divine essence of love, wholeness, and harmony. I am so grateful for this truth. I am so grateful for all the good that is right now manifesting as this truth. And in great, great gratitude, I release this word. And I invite you, even now, right where you are, right in your living room, your bedroom, wherever you are, in your pajamas, your robe, your clothes, whatever, I invite you to ground it with me, with the words, and so it is. Thank you again. We're doing this. We're doing this, everyone. Nothing can stop us from being in community. Nothing can stop us from practicing this beautiful teaching and staying in the vibration and the knowing that all is well, even now. So I invite us into our conscious giving time. And on your screen, you'll see a link for you to be able to give. Also, you can send contributions to Center for Spiritual Living, Bakersfield at P.O. Box 617, Bakersfield, California, area code 933 or zip code 93304. Make sure to make your check out in full to Center for Spiritual Living. You also can go to the website, Center for Spiritual Living, Bakersfield.com, and give, hit the donate button and give that way. And thank you for your gifts. That's another way that we have to keep moving forward. We have to keep this center moving forward with our gifts and also stay in that flow. We need to still be able to give as part of our spiritual practice. So thank you for all the ways that you support the spiritual community, and thanks for being here today. We'll hear from Sharon again.
And join me in I Am So Blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. has been such a blessing to be part of this morning. I have a couple announcements, and then I'm going to invite our acting board president, Scott Tobias, up for a couple center announcements. I believe a notice went out for the couch concert series. I attended the last couple, the Friday and Saturday night. It was really fun and connecting, and to see these awesome spirituals, singers that are just singing of hope and love, and it's just been a beautiful experience. I invite you to join online. I believe the link went out, so I invite you to check that out. The other thing I want to announce is I'm going to go ahead with the Bhagavad Gita for Beginners class, and I've looked at it. We're going to keep it at 3 weeks. We're going to do it on Zoom, and I'm still working out some logistics, so we're going to do it on Thursday evenings starting April 16th, so that will allow a little bit of logistics about how to sign up, and we're going to do the class for $60 for the 3 weeks. We'll waive the admin fee for this time, and we'll do it the 16th through the 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. On Zoom, and so more information will be coming out on that. And with that, I'd like to invite Scott.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Wherever you are. Okay, some announcements. Some of these are pretty self-explanatory or obvious. While we're in shelter in place, if you need anything, please call Teresa. Her phone number is 661-497-2222. The book sale, yard sale, is postponed until further notice. Continue to, if you have things to give, we will be back. We will be doing it, and so save those. And we'll let you know when we can do it again, or at all. Annual membership meeting is postponed, so that was scheduled for today. So obviously it is postponed. So in light of the fact that we had 4 people that were up for election for the board of directors, we went ahead and appointed them at our last board meeting last Tuesday. So the new board members are Steve Murray, Bill O'Kay, Liz Tovar, and Kyle Williams. So those 4 will be joining the 3 remaining, which is Jennifer Woods, myself, of course, and Donna Fitch, thanks. You know, I know that. Yeah, Donna, sorry about that. Actually, before I came up here, I was reciting all this to myself, and then for some reason it just jumped out of my head. So, other than that, the Amazon Smile, if you purchase anything on Amazon, please use an Amazon Smile account, and that will send money back to us. And that is all I have, so have a wonderful Sunday, and I probably will be here next week to make more announcements. Thank you.
All right, and so we're going to close with the peace song, but I also want to remind you that Ann and I are your practitioners here in Bakersfield, and I believe all our contact information is on the website. If you have an old program at home laying around, it's on the inside folder. Please contact us if you need prayer, if you'd like a session, or just need prayer. We are there for you, and I'm sure Reverend Gregory can be available as well. He'll tell you about that. So, our peace song. Thank you for being here today. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our power, united.
Okay, so thank you everyone again for tuning in. And let us say, you can affirm right where you are right now, sitting in your home, God is my center.
God is my center.
I live from my center.
I live from my center.
I live powerfully and boldly,
I live powerfully and boldly.
even now.
Even now,
I know that all is well,
I know that
All is well,
regardless of appearances.
regardless of appearances.
Love prevails,
Love prevails.
and so it is. Thank you, everyone. See you all online next week. Well, I won't, but you all will be online next week. Blessings.